people, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've filmed a video and I'm not coming to you with books. So, different background, who it is? I'm here with my friend Christine.
Hello.
I've mentioned in the past that I've returned to school for UX design, and I wanted to get an actual UX designer and have a chat with her about what she does.
Cool. Happy to be here.
How did you get into UX?
I knew I wanted to be a designer before I realized it was a career. I really didn't know you could be a designer until my senior year of high school. I was making, this is really embarrassing, but I was making graphics for teeny bopper message boards online in high school, and that sort of led me to design graphics for my own website. So I had a little blog talking about all my high school problems. Okay. I really loved designing for the web, and that I taught myself HTML back when it was very minimal. I went to school for graphic design, but still sort of always had this interactive love and background. So taught myself CSS in college, and sort of that opened doors for me to not only do graphic design, which is what I studied, but also do web design. And worked for a lot of agencies, and I landed in one agency that actually did not only websites but custom software, and that really opened the doors for me into this whole new tech world. I was very confused for months. I learned a lot there about the whole process, and realized that not only can I make something that's nice to look at, but it's really functional, and it's useful, and it serves a purpose, and you're actually helping people do something that they couldn't do before. And I just loved that whole logical systematic thinking that goes along with the visual. And so I was this is great, I can do both things and have an end result that's actually going to be really useful in the real world. So now I'm my first role in-house as a UI UX designer specifically.
What have you learned about the UX process since being in this job?
I've learned that it takes time. And research in particular takes time. So in a regular agency, you're beholden to your client's budget and time. And so what's the first thing to go? Usually it's we don't need all that research. We don't need to do user testing. It's just give me a deliverable, right? Let me show the client something so they can say we did it and move on. But that's really and I always knew that was not enough, and you're really not doing due diligence. To do it right, you really have to put in that time in the beginning, and then the follow-up. So after you launch something, how's it doing? Are people actually using it like we thought they would? Are they having problems? Is it helping them in the way that we thought it would help them? And you really learn a lot, and being able to go back and then make changes on something that you've sent out, just continually improving something is a whole new thing for me.
So what are some challenges that you've experienced in your position?
Before I was in-house and working with clients, you have a different set of challenges where the client they don't know anything about design, they don't know about UX. There's a lot of education that has to happen there, and a lot of trust and relationship building so that they trust you to do what you are the expert in. But now that I'm in-house, even though I don't have clients, I still have stakeholders that I need to work with. So I work closely with Director of Engineering. I work closely with the Director of Customer Success, who they're the customer service people who help our customers use our product. Marketing is involved sometimes, as well as the Director of Product. So I have to balance these business needs with the user experience. So even though as a designer, I see these things that like drive me crazy and I'm really nitpicky about it. Like, if we were to do the effort to do that, the impact could be this big. Whereas if I spend time doing something that's going to make our product a lot of money or going to make our customers way happier, then to them that's a lot more worth my time, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of me having to appreciate and like balance all these different needs within my company.
What's the day in the life like?
So usually I get in, I happen to work somewhere that's pretty flexible in terms of like, I don't have to be there exactly at a certain time, which is really nice. They're pretty laid back, like a lot of tech companies. So come in, I check my email. We run a lot of our sort of tasks management on Trello, and so I'll check and see if I've been tagged in anything. I keep like my own personal Trello board of like my own to-dos just to keep myself on track. So just kind of catching up on like where things were left off or if someone commented on a design or something, just for that like follow up right away. And then I could either be in a meeting with any of those teams that I mentioned. Sometimes it's like just doing revisions on a design that I've already presented. Sometimes I'll be sketching out a workflow or some wireframes for a new feature that we're trying to do. Sometimes it's reviewing feedback that we've gotten about something that's already been launched. So sort of meeting with director of product to kind of come up with a game plan of how to address some things that have come up. Like if we keep hearing the same thing over and over again from a customer about how like we really need this or this is not working or I can't find this, like then we know, okay, we have to address that. So again, like revisiting old designs, but then also for brand new features, going through the whole process from start to finish on, you know, the research, the mapping out of all the information architecture, going through workflows, all the way through wireframes, visual design, and then I'll also be checking in with developers from time to time, making sure that what they're building actually looks like what I gave them, which that's its own struggle.
What is it like talking to developers?
I will say I really like talking to developers like on a personal level because they're like tend to be pretty like funny. I don't know, like most of the developers I've met, you would look at them and not realize how funny they are, but like they're hilarious. I don't know, at least the ones I know.
Just a little dorky humor.
Yeah, I don't know, like
I like developers too.
Yeah, they're just like good people, but they're different, right? So a lot of them tend to want to work like late at night in the dark or keep to themselves. To a good extent, like communication and like voicing issues when they come up typically doesn't happen. It'll be like until after they've tried a million things and they're like at their wit's end will they say something. So for me, I've learned that you have to work on those relationships, like get to know them, like let them get to know you, and so they know that you're not just this like anal crazy designer who's making their life miserable. They're like, no, like we both have the same goal, like I said, and helping them to redesign, even though like understand they're not designers, and pointing things out for them like very specifically. So generalities typically don't work because they need to know exactly what you mean. So if I say something big like, oh, make this font bigger, they'll make it bigger, but it'll probably be too big or not big enough, right? So you need to be very specific, and thankfully, like there's a lot of tools now to sort of help the communication between design and code. But it always helps just to talk to them, and like sometimes just going over there and walking through something, through a design with them, can make a lot of difference.
Do you find that knowing code helps you to communicate a little better?
Definitely.
Okay.
I know HTML and CSS, and that's it, but that has been like a lifesaver. I don't know how I would talk to developers if I didn't know. So implementing it, knowing like how to instruct them to fix something, instead of like pointing and be like, make this different, like specifically saying, increase the padding 15 pixels on the left side of this element. They're like, yes, I can do that. That makes sense too.
So in your job search process, what were you looking for? Like when you were searching for a job, do you look for like the job description and seeing what aligns with your skills? Were you looking for the experience that you could potentially have?
I spent a lot of time thinking about this actually because I wanted to make sure, I don't know, there's a lot of things that go into it. Like, of course, you want to feel like confident that you could do the job, but also not so confident that you're like, this is not going to be a challenge or this is not going to help me grow.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a good point.
Looking for something that was like a little bit of a challenge to where I almost not doubted myself, but like, I'm not cocky about it, right?
Yeah.
Like I go in expecting to learn and expecting to grow. I think that's really important. And then also finding a place that has work that you personally value.
Yeah.
So because I spent so long in agencies, you know, you get all kinds of projects, and some of those you could care less about, honestly. It's like some industry you don't care about, or worse, you think is like not a good thing to work on and you don't want to contribute to it. But then once in a while you'll get a project that's like, wow, like this is a really great idea and this is really going to help people, and I really like personally feel that it's important. I found that makes the work a lot more enjoyable and you just feel a lot better about yourself. So I was looking for a company that sort of had similar values. Company culture is really important, which it's really hard to gauge from the outside, unfortunately. Knowing that I wanted to focus specifically on UX UI this time around and not just like work in another agency, I kind of wanted to break, just to try something different and sort of focus my career in this one area instead of being kind of like a whatever you need kind of a designer. I wanted to like further my exploration of UX. So
what do you read or use to keep you sharp in UX?
Honestly, I probably read too much. Like I need to just
stop.
You
can never read too much. She didn't say that. No.
I mean, like I want to read more than I physically can. So I use this Chrome extension called Pocket.
Okay.
And I put all my links in there and I save it for later, but it's just growing and growing and I will never...
You never get through it.
No.
Yeah.
But I really love the Envision blog. Their newsletter, like I find myself reading almost all of their articles.
Yeah.
There's this Chrome extension I like called Musli, muz.li. And it's just like, they just pull stuff from all over the internet about design, and so, you know, it all kind of like comes on my my screen. Designer News is good. I just found a couple other ones. I'll have to send it to you where it's like the top stories in UX of the day, and they just send you this email every day of like the top stories. So
that's cool. I get the same thing for libraries.
Yeah. There's a ton of good resources out there. I'm gonna hopefully compile a list to give out, so definitely let you know when I have that. But
that's awesome. Yeah.
Just, and honestly, like joining a bunch of Slack groups. There's people there from all over the world, and people are posting articles all the time, and and being able to ask questions, and people are usually really willing to help, so that's kind of helped me stay on top of things too.
When you like get stuck on a project, do you like go to your team members, or you try to figure it out yourself? Do you refer to some of the readings that you've used?
Kind of all of the above.
Okay.
So if it's something like that I know has been done before, I just can't picture it. Like the other day I was like trying to make a date picker. Like those exist. They're in the world. I just like need to look at one so I can know what I'm doing. So I was designing something like that, and I was like, I just need to see one. So I just Googled like date picker UI, and then you get a bunch of examples. Or like I'll go to Dribbble and search for something that, some like UI element that is very common. I just want to see examples of how they work and like which ones have something that could be useful for what I'm doing. But yeah, if it's something to do with our product, I find that talking it out with my director of product and then anyone else who might be involved is really helpful, because like they know the product and the customers so much better than I do, since I'm so new still, that they'll think of things that I never would have thought of. So just talking it out, I think, really helps.
Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.
This is pretty good. Check out Christine's channel, Design Gal, on YouTube. Where else can they find you?
You can find me at Christine Maggi, Maggi, on Twitter.
Awesome. All right, thank you all, and I'll check you out in my next video. Bye.